Hi guys, it's Dakota. Welcome to my channel. I'm on this side of the witch cottage today. I needed my workbench, my big work table today to show you what I'm talking about today. Normally I'm on the other side of that cabinet over there at my little table. So I'm talking about red brick dust today. What is red brick dust? Well, it is red brick dust. Thank you very much. The end, right? So, okay, so red brick dust. I did research. I use red brick dust myself in my practice. I don't use it all the time. I don't use it often, like, all the time. But I do use it. So I went through my own personal notes. I did some extra research on it, and I did talk to a couple of my elders that are in different practices, magical practices. And from what I could find out, it is using red brick dust is not exclusive to one particular form of magical practice. So that's what I found out. If you found out something different, please let me know. So one of the reasons, why do we use it? Well, one of the reasons is because, and first of all and foremost, is this comes from Mother Earth, right? This is red red ochre, uh, not red okra, red ochre. So it's a combination of dirt, red clay, different minerals that they pull from Mother Earth, and then whatever they make their solution, the wet solution with, then they pour it into the brick forms, and then they cook it at like really, really extreme hot temperatures, like, I don't know, like 1,000 or whatever, degrees, very, very hot temperatures. And so then it cooks, and when it's done and it's cooled, it makes these bricks, these hard bricks. And so when we think about that, first of all, then we're working with the element of earth. So let's think about earth, her properties. Well, she is a stabilizer, she is a nurturer, she is life, and she is a protector. Okay, she also is a protector if you treat her right. So red brick dust is good for protection. Now, okay, well, how is that? How is Mother Earth like the protector? Especially when we're talking about the red brick. Well, red brick can be a foundation. It is like the foundation. And you've all heard me talk about in magic, if you're doing any kind of spell work, you need to have a foundation. Like, why are you doing it? What's the root of that, and why are you doing that? And so have that knowledge, understand, have the understanding of it. So they use bricks as a foundation to build homes. They also use bricks sometimes we have brick fences, right? So that the neighbors aren't spying on us and we're not spying on the neighbors. It's for privacy. Um, we can make bonfire rings, which is super easy. You just take your big brick like this, lay it flat, lay it in a circle this way, however big you want your fire ring to be, and then the next layer goes in between the two bricks, and so on until you get your fire ring as high as you want it. But here is the thing. Let's say that the bricks are used for protection in that if you build a structure out of brick, that keeps what's inside safe and protected from what's outside. So let's just use a storm, for example. There's a storm coming. Well, you're going to go inside your brick shelter. The bricks protect you from the storm. So not only does it protect what's inside, but then it's keeping that energy and the stuff that isn't serving your highest good, it keeps it out. So it's a protective barrier. That's what it is. It's a protective barrier. So it is used for protection then. That is its main thing from what what I understand in my research and how I use it. I use it for protection. Now, how did this, way back in the ancient, like even the cave drawings, well, they didn't have paint, but they have cave drawings. They used red ochre. They used what was available, whether it was plants or whether it was the clay. Add water, now you have color, and so they would paint their drawings on the caves. They also used it for decorative, ornamental purposes. Like if they were going hunting, or maybe for whatever, drawing symbols, whatever they did. They used it as sunscreen. They also used it as sunscreen, just like if you've ever seen any of the survival shows, when they're out in like the baking sun, you're going to fry, and they will find some mud and put mud on them, and it also works as an insect repellent as well. So there's a lot of good things when it comes to, let's just say, dirt, which is what this comes from. So, okay, let me look at this. All right. So, what we're going to do is let's talk first about where you get your bricks from. Okay, where do you get your bricks? First of all, I do sell red brick dust at my store. However, I do buy it from a wholesale distributor or distributors. And since COVID, I can't get my hands on it. Since COVID, it's non-existent. But even before then, and I do make a few things for the store, but I try not to make a whole lot of things because I have other things to do at the store. And when I make something and it's a good seller and I sell out, then more people want it, and then that takes me away from my job, which I don't mind. I love making things, and I'm really excited that people like this stuff. But you understand, sometimes, I'm like, I'm busy. Yeah, I can do it on my day off. I can hear my employee talking right now. Yes, I can do it on my day off, but guess what? Day off is a day off for a reason. Anyway, so yes, I started making red brick, I'm not going to edit that, red brick dust a long time ago. And over the years, because originally I just took the brick, crushed it up, and used the red dust. And that's fine. That is fine. You might say some blessings, you might consecrate it, you might have some intentions that you say when you're using it, etc. But I just used the crushed brick. But over the years, as I grow into my path, into my practice, and I learn things from my elders and etc., I grow magically as well. So I now make it a little bit differently. But so I'm haven't decided, I'm thinking that I will make the red brick dust for the store as well. And then that way we have it. So what I'm going to do is, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how I make my dust. And remember, it's just that. It's my dust. You can go on YouTube. There's several YouTube channels that tell you how to do it. It is that simple. Crush the brick. And you can read in blogs, Pinterest, Instagram. It's all over the place. But mine's just a little bit different. Where I get my bricks, well, this particular brick probably came from the lawn and garden center. However, I have some really awesome bricks that I got years and years ago. There was an old building here in our town. I'm not sure what it was. I think it was like a, I don't even know what it was. It was just probably some commercial building of some sort. And it was small. It wasn't any big size or anything. It was not a mortuary. It was not a prison. It wasn't anything, you know, like that. And when they decided to widen the road, the building had been abandoned for, you know, probably 50 years. And they started tearing it down, just bulldozing it down. And I stopped one day and I asked the guy, the contractor, I said, "What are you doing with all the brick?" And he said, "The truck's going to come and get it." And I said, "What are they going to do with it?" And he goes, "It just goes to the dump or the landfill or wherever they take it." And I said, "Do you think I could take some of the bricks?" And he's like, "Sure." I was like, "Okay." So my husband and I loaded up a bunch of the bricks. And the reason I did that is for a couple reasons. One, the bricks were really cool. When you buy a new brick, it's very square, right? Very square. Doesn't really have any like personality to it. And these bricks had like some, you know, some moss and some aged. They were weathered. They were sort of rounded. Some of the corners were rounded from the weather. And like I said, they had some moss, and I just they had personality. So we collected some of the bricks and I brought them home. I cleansed energy wise. I didn't want to wash them because I wanted the looks of them the way they were. So I just did a cleansing, you know, just an energy cleansing. Gave some gratitude to Mother Earth for creating the bricks. Asked that, you know, if by chance there was any negative, you know, energies that may still be attached or was attached to the energy of the brick, to have that removed, and all of that. And then use the bricks for whatever it was, probably in the garden somewhere. And so yeah, so that's what I had. I hear stories about, oh, you should go to an old cemetery and get them. And you know, here's what I have to say about that. It's just my own opinion. Unless it is one of your ancestors' graves, and you have maybe talked to other family members and maybe tried to commune with that ancestor, that if it was okay to take a brick or two from their grave, their resting place, um, I don't think that I would do it. You know, I mean, you're not going to just go to some stranger's grave and get a brick. In my opinion, I think it's unethical. It's just my opinion. Just my opinion. I think it is unethical. And two, whoever's buried there, spirit wise, they may not like that. They may not appreciate that. And how do you know who that is? Oh, well, it was somebody rich, you know, and famous. It's a famous witch, you know. So, okay, well, then good luck with that. You know, and if you don't know, I don't know, even I just feel like you don't know what kind of energies were attached to that person, you know, who they were, what they were about. Maybe they were just a mean, nasty person. I personally don't want that energies. And can I cut cords with that? Yeah, you know, I probably can. But here's the thing, which I did with my bricks that I got. You know, I did sort of like a cutting of any human or spirit energy that may have been negative. So you can do that. However, those bricks that I took, no one owned those bricks anymore. They weren't over a body. They weren't part of someone's grave. And so I just have some ethical issues with taking from. That's sort of like stealing, and I just think you need to ask permission if you're going to do that. But to each their own. So you know, does it make a difference when you buy it from the lawn care center? Well, you know, the difference is it's not going to have that old energy to it. These are new bricks, so it's not going to have that old energy to it. I get that and I understand it. Ha! That's where your magical practice comes into play, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So, I told my husband that I needed 2 bricks. I wanted one that was a full brick so I could keep lifting it up and showing you. And then I wanted some pieces so that I could actually hold them and show you, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the small piece, and he did that for me, so thank you. I'm going to take the small piece. He brought me a hammer, and I'm going to smash it up. I'm going to do this outside. I'm not going to do it in here because, you know, this is hard to crush. Not hard, but I mean, it's loud and I'm on a wooden table. So I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to hammer it into some small pieces, and then I'll be right back and I'll show you then what we do with it. Okay, so here we are. Here is what's left of the smaller of the pieces. I didn't do it all, but you can see there's the crushed pieces in there. Now, some of those pieces are still kind of big, like these. These are too big. So I'm going to try to see if I can't crush these a little bit. I'm going to smash them down there. Sorry for the hammering. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause again. Okay. You can see how it's getting more powdery. Still a little chunky in some places. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to grind it counterclockwise. And the reason why is because I'm going to be using this particular powder to keep away. So this is like for banishing, for removing. And so I'm going to use a counterclockwise motion in my grinding. So what I did was I still had to chop it up to get it into small enough pieces, and now I'm going to just grind it counterclockwise to get a really fine, as fine a powder as I can get. I know that is loud. Do it this way. See how nice that's turning out? Okay, so I'm going to leave it just like that for now. And okay, there we go. I'm going to add in this little baggie, which kind of looks like red brick, but it's not. This happens to be, I was going to make some, but I had this little bit left and I just want to use this first. So what this is, hold my hand, this is dragon's blood resin. Dragon's blood resin with, if you can see these herbs, I also am adding, and I'm not, so they're my herbs. They're herbs that are good for protection. I will just go there. And then I'm using dragon's blood resin, which is also for protection and for removing things that aren't serving our highest good. So this is something that I made already, but I just wanted to use the last of it. I don't want to have to make any more right this minute. So anyway, I'm going to put that in there. And yeah, I'm wearing white, which you probably shouldn't do. And again, I'm going to mix it up in with my brick powder, or my brick dust, I should say. Okay. All right. So now what do we do? Now I have my red brick dust. Okay, so now what? So now you can take your red brick dust. One of the most common things is to take the brick dust and sprinkle it across your thresholds of your doors, your window threshold, seal, window seal, whatever they're called, thresholds of your windows. That is probably the most common. You can use it around your property. Now, I did not use, there is no salt in this. This came straight from Mother Earth. So it's safe, it's environmentally friendly. So one of the issues that I have with people using salt, and even black salt or Himalayan salt or any kind of salt, where they're using it on the threshold or the windows, if it's outside. Now if it's outside, or they're doing their property with salt and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, salt is great for removing or keeping the negative energy away from you. But here's the thing, salt is toxic to grass, to flowers. It will kill it. So I have a lot of plants, and I'm a big plant person, and I'm a weed person, and I don't mean that kind of weed. I mean pretty weeds like dandelion and wild weeds, for the insects, the butterflies, the bats. We have a lot of bats here, bees. So I'm a big protector of that. And so if I go around killing the weeds and stuff, or the flowers, not thinking that I'm using salt, when it rains, the salt washes that off. So then it gets into your soil and into your plants, and that's how it kills it. Sorry, I heard something. I was like, is that my computer making that noise? It was something from outside. That was weird. Okay, so sorry. Anyway, I'm not going to edit that out either. Anyway, um, so I like to use red brick dust for that reason. And again, the dragon's blood resin, it's just resin. It comes from the tree. It's dragon's blood tree. So it's just resin. It's natural. It's okay. Um, and it's crushed, so it's not like a piece of resin where a bird might see that and try to eat it because they think it's something. It's not that way. And then of course the herbs I grew them right out here in my yard. The bees have, I'm sure, and the butterflies have pollinated them. And so, I feel they're not toxic in that respect. Here's the other thing, if you're dusting your doors and windows outside, or you're dusting your property lines, whatever, outside, remember, I just said it, that is temporary. It rains and washes it away. It also, the wind blows it away. So it's temporary. It is kind of like sage. This is my feeling. This is my opinion. Sage is temporary. Not like you sage and then it just goes away. But after a few days, you might need to resage. So it's sort of the same thing with your salts or with your dust. It's something that's going to have to be repeated because the elements will wash it away, blow it away, etc. So the other thing that you can do, though, that I like to do with, and I have only done it a couple of times with the brick dust, is you can mix it with water, and you can wash your floors with it to wash away that energy. Now, I've only used it once. Why? Why do you think that is? Because it was red and it left red. I had to go over and remop my floor a couple times to get the red out. what I learned since then is instead of washing the floor, take the dust itself, sprinkle it on your floor, and then sweep it out the door. Ta-da! That makes more sense, right? Yeah, so please learn from my mistake. Because it took me a couple of washes to get that out. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to wash the floor with it. That'll be really great. Yeah, not so much. And by the time I was done, I had already washed any energy from the dust was washed away because I had to wash my floor a couple times to get that red color off. Okay, um, you can put it in mojo bags for protection. You can, you've seen me in one of my spell works that I did. I don't remember which one. I actually have dressed my candles in brick dust, where I have carved a sigil or carved a word or whatever it is that I'm doing and put my oil on it and either sprinkle it with the dust or roll it in the dust. You can put the dust at the base of your candle if you want, if you're using it for protection or for that, that keeping that negative energy stuff, things that aren't serving your highest good, keeping that away from you. So you can use it that way. I love this. How about using it for your stones, your crystals and stuff? Instead of putting them in salt, which I never recommend, salt over a period of time will or can and will, can or might, I don't want any negative comments, can or might pit your stones, your crystals. So you have to be very careful. But you can just lay them on top of your dust. That would cleanse it. It's Mother Earth. That would cleanse it, and it would, help with that protective energy too. So if you're using a stone for protection, like your obsidian or something like that, that you use for protection. So it works really good for that. I'm pretty sure that is it, with the exception of one more thing that I came up with on my own, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. All right. This little Dixie cup, normally I would have cut this down if I was using it for myself, but actually you don't have to. You could use this, because here's what I'm going to talk to you about. You know how we use, and maybe you don't, eggshell, we powder that down and add a little whatever, water, maybe some Florida water, whatever to it. Hint, hint. So what I'm going to do is to make a chalk. We let it dry and it becomes a chalk. And you can use the chalk then to draw sigils, draw lines across the threshold and things like that. So what I've learned to do with my dust, when I want to go across my thresholds, is, and I'm not going to, well, and I'll tell you this. So put your dust in a little Dixie cup, okay? Put your dust in there. I add a little bit of water, not a lot, a little bit of water. I do add Florida water. There was the hint. I use Florida water for a lot of things. Mix it up. Mix it up. You want it not runny. It's kind of thick. You want it thick. So just add a little bit of liquid until it becomes a thick consistency, and then let it dry. Let it dry. And then really, the truth of the matter is, once it is dry, you now have a piece of red brick chalk, basically. That's what you have. And we tear the cup off, tear this little plastic or paper cup off, and now you have a nice little piece that you can hold. You can draw sigils, you can draw the lines, and eventually, yes, those are going to wash away. One of the things that you can do is draw the line under your mat, under your doormat, draw protection sigil under your doormat. So many things. There's so many things. But one of the things that I like to use rather than sprinkling the dust, because I have found that it actually lasts longer. Not only that, I mean, not of course in a big rainstorm or anything, but not only that, I do use sigils a lot, and I like to be able to draw those and maybe put it under the mat or, you know, whatever. And it stays a little bit longer than just sprinkling the dust. Plus, you have, when you're doing that, when you're drawing your sigil or you're writing out a thing, you know, an intention or whatever, maybe you just write the word protection or whatever it is that you write. That is your energy projecting through your chalk, your red brick dust chalk, and going into the whatever it is that you're putting it into. So I like making the red brick chalk, and like I said, you add your dust, and then just I use you know, the little oil pipettes, the little things. Just add a few drops at a time. I do like to use Florida water. There's other things that I like to use as well, and that you can use as well, to mix in with your chalk solution. So that's what I have for you today, and I hope you like that. Don't wear white. I have on like this white colored little skirt, summer skirt, and I've got red brick dust kind of fingerprints on it. My hands are full of dust. So just remember that. Don't wash your floors with it, but you can sprinkle your floors and then sweep the dust out. Much better idea. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week. Thanks for watching. Spread the word, spread the love. Bye, guys.